to do like a scheduled live today because I planned on going live around 6 o'clock right after my children ate dinner. But my dog had an accident. So it's just a lot of things happening, but I'm here and I'm happy that I'm here. Okay. I showed up today and that means something. So I know lately my lives have been like earlier in the morning, but I ended up oversleeping this morning, and I'm glad I did because I really do enjoy my sleep. Okay, I don't think y'all understand. Sleep is my mic on? I don't think you understand, but sleep for me is extremely important. Let me not lie. Sleep for everyone is extremely important. So make sure you're getting your Z's. Okay, go to bed at a reasonable time and try to wake up. At a reasonable time. But so while I sit here and talk to you about today's topic, which if you haven't seen the thumbnail, because if you're watching this live, sometimes it doesn't show you the thumbnail right away. But today I'm going to be talking about 6 ways that motherhood will outlive you. So I think this topic is very interesting, and if it wasn't, I wouldn't even be talking about it. But motherhood outliving you, I feel like when you understand that concept, it makes you it makes you plan more. It makes you be more. It makes you have more intentions in order to be able to, what can I say, raise your children in a way where not only does today matter, but it matters when they are adults as well. So I'm just going to go over some of the things that I had wrote down. And like I said, I'm working on my meal plan for this week because um, I still had some leftover Thanksgiving food, and I decided to give my children that until it ran out, which means I didn't have a meal plan set. So I'm actually working on that right now. So the meal plan that I have is actually one from my Busy Mom Productivity Bundle, and I have that on my website right now. It's available. I think it's about $6 if I'm not mistaken. I should probably put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Let me do that now. Excuse me while I turn on for an hour. Um, but yeah, so this meal plan, I have it in this color. I have it in the color pink. It has like some designs around it. But I also have one in black and white as well too, just in case maybe printing color is not something you're able to do right now, or maybe you're not able to get to a printer that has color. So that's why I have one in black and white, and I also have this one in pink as well too. So and that way, when a week arrives, so normally I like to do like a Sunday reset. And on Sunday is when I'll do my meal plan. I'll do my to do list for at least Monday and Tuesday, my grocery list, things like that. So, those are all the things that will also be inside of the productivity bundle. So, make sure you go and check that out. I think I have it right now in my description section. So if you need to be able to organize your life as a mom, I think that's the best way to get started because it literally has everything that you need. It's even empty checklists in there for children as well too. So if you have older children that are able, hello, how you doing? If you have older children that are able to, help you around a house with chores and things like that, the checklist is going to be helpful for you too. So, like I said, it's in my description section and it's called the Busy Mom Productivity Bundle. So, I'm going to try to see if I could pin it as a comment too. Let me see. Let me see if I can do that real quick. And I'll read your comments too. Hi. Oh, thank you. You were my first thumbs up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hello, Daniel. Hello. So right now I'm going to go and pin that the Busy Mind Productivity bundle. I'm going to pin it to the top. That way you're able to see it better. Because I don't want you to leave this live to go look at it. Like I want it to be very simple and easy for you to access. So let me refresh my screen. But maybe I should start talking about the subject too. So, like I said, today I'm going to be talking about 6 ways that motherhood will outlive you. and how your actions today can influence the future. So, the first thing I want to talk about, oh, I didn't think this would be this hard. It's actually hard to be able to talk and scroll. How do y'all do this? Oh my goodness. um, so the first thing I want to discuss is the legacy of love. I feel like the legacy of love is something that will outlive you as a mom, because not only just the way that you care for your children right now will affect their behavior, the way that they care for other people, but it's going to affect the way that they treat other people in the future. Let me see. Is it here now? Okay, awesome. So let me see if I could pin it now. Thank you so much for coming in to watch my live. If you're still here, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button so other people know this is a video that is, informative, helpful, and, I'm trying to get more people to see my channel, because I've had my YouTube channel for a while now, but I know that if I'm not consistently posting, that people won't see my channel. So while you're watching this video, just make sure you leave me a thumbs up. Thank you. I'm so happy to see your comments. That makes me like more. I mean, even if I'm only talking, it makes me proud to know that what I'm doing is. So let me see. Why didn't it just open it up? Let's see. Okay. And like I said, the productivity bundle should be in the description section. So what I'm going to do now is just grab it and pin it. Let's see. Hello, Sincere. Hello. Um, where is it at? Are you looking for it? I'm trying to find it myself at this point. Do they let you see the description section while it's live? Like, you should be able to, right? Okay, here it is. I found it. Bam, look at me. I feel so smart. Let me see if I can grab it. Okay. Okay. I don't feel like an old lady right now. Look at me doing things. Let me paste it now. Paste. And then maybe it'll let me pin it. Let's see. Can I pin it? Oh my goodness. Look at me. I'm so advanced. Did I do it? Oh, I did. Okay. Look at me. All right. All right. And then I'm able to see your comments here too. That's awesome. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to move on to the subject. Oh, and I did pin it. I can actually see it on the screen now. Okay. So I'm going to turn my phone a little bit so you can see me a little better. So I want to start with the legacy of love. I had wrote down some things, so I'm gonna read a little bit of what I wrote. But the love a mother bestows on her children shapes her sense of self-worth and the capacity of love. This love is passed down through generations, and it creates a ripple effect of compassion and kindness. So I had wrote down two different ways that I believe that you can pass down the legacy of love. So one of the ways I have is through your touch. So as a mom, I feel like every adult, teen, child, you remember your mother's touch. I'm gonna take my glasses off. You remember the way that your mother touched you. And I remember that my mom was always so gentle with me. I remember when we went to go cross the street, she would grab my hand a little firm, just to make sure that I was safe. And I actually felt more secure with her grabbing me in that way. When it came to like, maybe I needed to be on a different side of the street or something while we were walking down the street, she would gently like nudge me over to the other side. When it came time for me to, like, maybe she wanted me to put a little pep in my step or something. Maybe we were trying to get somewhere, we were running late. She would I would say tap me on the back, like to remind me, okay, we got to walk a little faster. So what I want you to do is as a mom, just be mindful of the way that you touch your children. Um, I notice sometimes, like moms, if they're a little frantic or a little upset at the moment, it may not even be their child at the time, but it may be maybe a situation that's going on. They'll do things like they'll grab their arm or they'll pull them or drag them places. Like, you want to have gentle hands with your child. Now, that's not to say that, like, we don't get upset. Like, as moms, we do get upset with our kids at times, but I want you to be mindful in those moments and in other moments, because you don't want to make it a habit of, when you're upset, to be grabbing your child too roughly. But you want to make it a habit of, let's say you, like I said, let's say if you do need them to put a little pep in their step, and maybe they're walking a little slow, they're dragging their feet to do something, like come over and tap them on the shoulder, come over, pat them on the back. Like I said, use gentle hands with your kids, because those are things that they will never forget. Touch is also a sign of, like, it's like body language. So you can say a million words without even saying anything out of your mouth. You can touch your child and they will know, like, something is wrong, and it'll set off alarms in their mind. Let's say you're not even upset or anything like that. Just the way that you touch them will send a specific signal to their brain and have them in alert. And you don't want them to feel on guard all the time. You want them to feel comfortable, especially around you as their mom. So that's one thing I want to talk about. Like I said, instead of gripping or pushing them or dragging them places, I want you to do more gentle hands, like taps and nudges, or like a little push, like something gentle. I try my best to be like, do that with my children, even though they're older. They're not toddlers or anything like that, and they're a lot stronger and heavier now. But even, let's say we're walking past something and I catch them staring at somebody too hard, because that's something I don't like my children to do. Oh, question. Hello, you have a question? Um, Hello, how you doing? If you have a question, you can always leave it in the comment section. I'll look at it in a second. Yep. But what was I saying? Yes, one of the things I do with my son is that, let's say they're staring at somebody too hard, because I feel that it's disrespectful if someone may have a disability or something like that, and my children will stare at them. And don't get me wrong, children naturally do that because they're pretty curious. They want to know what's going on. But at the same time, as their mother, you want to make sure that you put in place, like, no, 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 like, come on, let's move on, say hi, and let's keep going. Staring at someone can also be a form of disrespect. I don't know about other countries, but in America, if you sit and you stare at somebody too long, they're going to feel uncomfortable. So I teach my children, come on. So I'll tap them on the shoulder. Come on, let's go. Let's move on to the next. Let's keep going where we're going. Okay. So that's one of the things I do with my children, but I don't drag them or pull them. I use my gentle hands and I tap them on the back, or I just lead them to where I want them to go. So that's one of the things I think will also leave a legacy of love. Just the way that you touch your children. It's like I said, it sends a signal to them that you love them and that you care about them. So that's one of the things I wanted you to start doing. The second thing is that I want you, and I feel like you may already be doing this, but give into your children without expecting anything. And not only in a moment, I'm also speaking about the future as well too, because I feel like sometimes as moms, we may instill things into our children, or we may teach them things in hopes that maybe one day they'll be able to give back to us. So instead of having that mindset of, I'm doing this so I can reap the benefits of it. Now, don't get me wrong, we do want some sort of result, but I want you to be able to give to your child without thinking, okay, if I do this for him, he'll make sure I never go into what I would say is not a retirement home, why am I forgetting what it's called? That is so sad. Um, like an old people home. That's what I'm just gonna call it for now. Um, and there are times where I notice, I not even I notice, I'm not even gonna lie, I actually have heard this before. Like I did this for you all these years. I took care of you for all those years. So you better make sure I'm taken care of. Like I don't want you to live like that in motherhood because that means you're not genuinely giving to your child. You're giving to your child in hopes that they're going to return something back to you. And I always say this, but oh, something in my eye. I always say this, but at the end of the day, children never asked to be here. So because they never asked to be here, it's your job to make sure that they feel loved. It's your job to make sure that they know that they're welcome to be here. Now, children are going to grow up and eventually they're going to be teens, and they might be a little mouthy, or they might, get a little guts to say something, and when that time comes, you need to put them in their place. But be every all that time leading up to that, they need to know that they're loved and that they're wanted and that you brought them. So I want you to, in a way where it's not what I will call it. It's called like agape love. I don't know if you've heard it before, but it's basically like a selfless love where you give to your children because you want better for them, not because you want a result from them. You want something from them. So I hope you understand what I mean when I say that. Why I actually have something in my eye and it is bothering me. Okay, I think it's gone. I think it's going. All right. Thank you so much for the heart and the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go to the next part. Oh, another thing I want to talk about when it comes to a legacy of love is that your time is also a part of that. Giving your time is a way that you show people that you love them in general, right? So, one of the ways that you can show that with your child is that you can include things like making sure you're taking the time to listen to them, making sure you're taking the time to play with them, but not only just play with them in ways that they want to be played with. So, I can say one thing with me. My children know I'm not a roughhouser. Like I'm not the mom that like wrestles and like throws my kids around and throws them up. Like I just have never been that mom. And I'm okay with that being a weakness for me. I'm okay with that. But my children do understand the way that I can play with them. So one of the ways I play with them is like they're older, so I'll play Legos with them, card games. We watch movies together. Like those are the things that they know. Okay, mom is okay with doing these things. So if I want to play with mom, then I know that I can ask her to do this, and most likely she'll say yes. So, like for instance, I'm trying to see. I think I put some examples right here. One of the things I like to do with my son is that my youngest son loves jigsaw puzzles. Excuse me. He loves jigsaw puzzles. So he fell in love with this hobby where he would be putting together 500-piece puzzles. And as a child, for me, I will look at it and be honestly overwhelmed because I just didn't have the patience for it. But for him, I think he's taken after his father, and he loves a challenge. Like he likes puzzles, he likes art, he likes those type of things. So over the summer, he would get these huge puzzles from like Five Below or like Dollar Tree, like wherever we would go. And even a store called Ollie's. I don't know if you know what Ollie's is. We love Ollie's. But these puzzles would be between 500, 700, 1,000 pieces. And he's not even intimidated. He just pours the pieces out on the table and he's trying to put them together. And I'm just sitting there like, child, like I'm thinking like, this is so amazing. This is inspiring to me because I know that I would have never done that as a child. So I know that something I have done or just something that has been instilled in him, it makes him feel like, he has the courage to be able to even try something that big, and he knows that he can accomplish it. So the crazy part is that he was able to do 3 puzzles, okay? But what I want to mention is that he asked me to help him. So that's one of the ways that I play with my children, and to show them that I love them, is that even though I don't like jigsaw puzzles, okay, I look at them like that's gonna take forever. I still sit down and I take the time to try to put, 1 or 2 pieces together. And it may take me a very long time, but I still try despite that. And that's one of the ways that you can leave a legacy of love. It's just sitting down, spending that quality time with them, because they really do appreciate it. They do. They do. Even if it's only like 15 minutes to a half an hour, they really do. They love that time. So make sure you're putting in that time with them. In the description section, I also put some toys and some activities that if you have children that are school age, I think I even have some stuff there for toddlers as well too, from Amazon, where you'll be able to buy those things and interact with your child with them as well. So go and check them out. I made sure I put some things in there that are very useful and not just like meaningless toys, because I personally don't even like to buy meaningless toys. I really want them to be like focused on STEM or math. Well, STEM is still math, but STEM, I would say, because STEM kind of covers everything, and also like reading. So just go and check that out when you get a chance. Also, I'm supposed to be doing my meal plan right now. If you're just new coming into the live, right now I'm supposed to be, I said I was going to do it, but I'm writing out my weekly meal plan right now. This meal plan you'll be able to get if you go and check out the link right here at the top of the screen. That is, this meal plan is a part of my Busy Mom Productivity bundle. I have this one, but I also have the version in black and white as well. And there's also some other planning materials in there. If you want to help get yourself organized, especially before the new year, that's the best way to do it, honestly. Just start with being able to map out your meals, your schedule, to-do lists. There's even some to-do lists in there for children as well, too. So if you have older children that maybe may can help you out with chores and things like that around the house, there's some items in there for them too. So make sure you go and check it out. Like I said, I have it pinned to the top of the comment section. Um, okay, so I'm going to go to the next topic. The next thing, not next topic, but the next thing I want to talk about. So the next thing I wanted to bring up was, excuse me, I'm trying to work on not saying so much. That is something I kind of struggle with when it comes to presenting information, and it's something I just want to work on in general. So I want to not say so much. So I learned this technique. I know this is off subject, but I learned this technique that when you're done talking, just like close your lips. And that way you won't have to say So I'm going to try to attempt that in this video, and I hope I'm able to do it. So we'll see. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This this definitely is effort, okay? I try to spend time on myself every day so I can not just appear beautiful, but so I can feel beautiful on the inside, because that's what really matters to me. If you don't feel beautiful, like your outward appearance really doesn't matter. So when I come and I present a topic to you, I want to feel it in my heart. So when I present it to you, you feel like I'm giving you some quality information. So thank you. I appreciate it. So the next thing that I believe will outlive your motherhood is that number one, you will be nurturing the future leaders of the world. So not only are you just taking care of these little people and you have to keep them alive, okay? but these are going to be the little people. They're going to be big people one day, and they're going to be running the entire world. So what you do and what you instill in them now is what's going to radiate onto the rest of the world, is what they're going to teach their children as well. So things like your values, your morals, and your work ethic is something that they're going to pass down to their children as well. So you have to be mindful when you are raising them, and I'm not saying that you have to be a perfect mom, because I know I'm not a perfect mom, but take the time during your week to be mindful in the things that you teach your children, because they're going to have to pass that down to their children, and then their children are going to pass it down to their children, so you want to be mindful. I think I have a question. What's your channel about? So my channel is about the self-development of moms. So that's what my channel really is about. That's the basics of it all. So I created this channel. I first created this channel because I wanted to teach moms that breastfeeding is not as difficult as some people may say it is. So that's kind of where I started. And I had my third son around that time. And I was motivated to take the time to teach moms the things that I knew. And it kind of turned into this motivating moms to be better moms. I enjoy doing. I ended up working for an organization provided items to moms that needed help. So I was able to teach classes, and I learned how to be able to convey a message to people. And I intentionally took that job because I wanted to be better at giving information and for people to understand what I'm saying and be able to use it in their day-to-day lives. So that's what this channel really is about. To make a long story short, it's about the self-development of moms. So if you're a mom, I hope that you subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be making more content like this. And if you ever have any suggestion, you can always leave it in the comment section. I would definitely go look it up and see how I can present it, or give you whatever the answer is. Or maybe you're not a mom and you know a mom that may need some help or some inspiration to, level up their motherhood. I think it's a good channel, and you can share my channel with anyone. I have no problem with that. I would love for you to share. So I hope that answered your question. So, what was I saying? Nurturing the future leaders of the world. So the way that you can do that is in the way that you teach them values, morals, and work ethic. So I feel like sometimes when we think of those things, we think about it too small. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because not only are we raising, like I said, little people, but we're raising people that are practicing adults. So I have an older son. My oldest son is 17 right now. And when I look at him, I'm like, oh my goodness, one day he's basically a man. Like, he's a man. And I want him to be prepared so much. Like, I think I have high expectations for him. He's an honor roll student, and he does so much. I'm just so proud of him. And I look at him and I still look at him as my baby at times. And I'm like, is he ready? Like, I worry, is he ready to be a man? But I just have to trust that the things that I taught him, he's going to be able to take that into the world and become a productive member of society, and be able to raise his own family as well. So I'm making this video because I want you to be able to trust your motherhood as well, and the things that you are able to teach your children. I want you to do your best. That's all we can do as moms, is to do our best in raising our children in the best way that we know how. And if we don't know how, I want you to take the time out to learn some things. I'm actually going to talk about that later on. But if you don't know the information, believe me, the information is always out there. So don't ever feel, discouraged and think that you can't teach your children the things that they need to know to be successful adults in life. There are plenty of resources that we can go to. So I'm going to talk about that later too. But So one of the things, values is one of the things that you, even if you're not even attempted to do it, you're always teaching your child values. Values like courage, creativity, curiosity, leadership. Those things you are naturally teaching your child, whether you're teaching them in a negative way or a positive way. You're always teaching them those things because you are the first teacher. So they're going to learn everything from you, whether it be something that you say out your mouth or your actions. They're going to be learning their values from their mother, their morals. So things like respect, accountability, forgiveness, and cooperation. Those are things they're also going to learn from you. From the time that they're born until they leave your home, they are going to be watching your actions. And the things that you teach them on a day to day basis is going to affect the way that they are able to bring that into the real world too. Excuse me. I should probably drink something. Excuse me. You are a mother. Yes, yes, I am a mother. I am a mother of three boys. I have three sons. They are so amazing. Okay. I think every mom says their children are amazing, but they are amazing. I have my oldest son is 17. I had him as a teen. I was a teen mom. And I waited 6 years to have more children with my husband. But we have two other children, and they are pretty close in age. I have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old. So, yes, I am a mother. I have three boys. Yes. This is so good. I'm drinking some soda. No, I probably shouldn't drink soda. I'm drinking some soda and I'm drinking tea at the same time. I think I'm starting to like drinking two things at once. It feels like, I don't know, I just like it. And I know it, like, it's probably better than eating, especially right now. So, but yes, so your work ethic. So believe it or not, fathers teach work ethic, but mothers teach work ethic as well. And one of the ways that you can teach it is by teaching them discipline, teaching them, I'm not specifically teaching them, but kind of showing them the drive that you need in order to have a good work ethic and professionalism. So, one of the ways I would say I teach my children professionalism is that I don't go to a 9 to 5, but this is my profession. This is my job, teaching moms how to better themselves. This is what I do. I do have another couple side hustles. I do Instacart. My children don't get to see me do that, but I do Instacart. But outside of that, things like let's say a company calls on the phone, right? And I don't know if you know this, but if you're a mom, you know this, okay? But if you aren't a mom, if you just seen a mom, there is a thing where we kind of have we like, I would say, code switch. Okay, I'm sure you know what code switching is, but basically, I'll be having a conversation with my child, talking to them, and if someone calls, hello, how you doing? Yes. Yep, no problem. Yes. And that's my way of showing them professionalism, is that when you're speaking to someone that is in a higher position, you want to take the time out to speak clearly. You want to take the time out to communicate with them clearly. So sometimes my voice switches up a little bit. And I noticed that my sons do it too. Not my youngest two, because I don't think they have adopted that habit yet, but my oldest son does it. I've seen it and I've heard it. He does it with his teachers. He does it with sometimes with kids. You can even code switch with other peers. Um, but I think it's because he understands the professionalism. That's basically what I'm saying. I think he understands it. So that's one thing that you teach them without teaching them. They just learn from your actions. So I wrote down that either way, negative or positive, you are instilling children. You instill your children on how to become the foundation of how they will build their lives, um, and also how they treat other people too. So First mom, second child. Okay. I'm sitting here reading my notes. Sorry. Oh, so that's what I wanted to talk about too earlier is that it's not, I would say that it's not even a problem for you to not know how to teach your children certain things because at the end of the day, not all of us went to college, okay? Not all of us went to college. Not all of us were even taught these things on our own. And not all of us know how to learn the skill on our own. But what we do have are things like resources, okay? I swear I am the resource queen, okay? Especially when it comes to like community and like I feel like I can get something. If I need something, I know how to get it, okay? And I always start with my community because I know my husband, he can't do everything all the time. Okay. So there are things that he can teach our children, but I know there are things that I personally cannot teach them on my own. So I reach out to leaders in my community. One way that I do that is that I reach out to churches, number one. I reach out to people that I know are going to be professional. I also like to reach out to recreation centers. So if you live in a city, there are so many resources in cities that a lot of people don't even know about. That there, are, and if you're willing to ask the question, work in those, especially honest people that work in those communities, they are willing to go for an answer because sometimes their job can be boring. So if you give them a question that they're not able to answer right away, that gives them something to go and look for, something to do during that time period where they might have downtime. And they're definitely going to get back to you. I'm telling you, like I have got so many answers from people from recreation centers, from my children's school. Like if I have a question about anything, they always take the time out to go and find the answer for me or to help me find the answer. So that's one way that you can take the time out to learn things for your children or find out how you can get the resources for them to learn things. So, one of the things I wanted to bring up is I wanted my boys to be able to have the skill to how to fish. Now, they were gifted fishing rods from their grandparents, and I'm so happy that they gave them to them. But I don't know how to fish. Okay, I'm not a fisher at all. Um, and I was never taught how to fish. I never even seen anyone fish in person before the summertime. So I decided to go look up free classes for fishing. And lo and behold, my neighborhood creek, they host fishing classes. Now, what's crazy is that they were hosting fishing classes for years, but not until I actually took the time out to go and look it up was I able to find that resource. So I really want you to take the time out to, if you have anything in mind that you think your children need to know or you think will benefit your child, I want you to take the time out to go and look it up. Don't feel intimidated. You know, it may be something that you may be able to learn too. Because not only did my children learn how to fish, but listen, I know how to fish now. Okay. I feel like a pro. My first day, I caught 3 fish. People thought I was just a natural. Okay. I didn't know that I was a natural. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a Pisces. So it makes sense. You know, why wouldn't I know how to fish naturally? But I was able to fish like and that made me so proud. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that I was able to find the resource and I was so proud of my children not giving up even though they were not able to get a fish right away, even though my middle son was. He's probably a pro like me, you know. But my other sons were able to do it and they kept trying until they caught their first fish. And that's a skill they're going to be able to take through their entire life and not only use it for themselves, but be able to teach their kids too. Like, daddy knows how to fish, you know? And who would have thought like I was able to play a role in that? So that made me proud as a mom, number one, but also know that if there is a skill that I think my children need to know, I can find a way for them to be able to learn it. I don't have to just sit back and be like, oh, what was me? And, I just can't do anything. No, you have the power to get your children to learn things. So that's one of the ways I want to help encourage you is that I want you to just not give up. Just don't give up. Let's say you don't, like I said, you don't know the skill. Don't give up. Try and reach out to other people. Reach out to friends. Reach out to family. Even if they can't do it themselves, they may know someone and they might be able to connect you with a resource. So just don't give up, okay, Mom? You got this. All right, you got this. So I have a comment I want to read. Somebody was channel about, yes. Oh, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Thank you so much, David. David says, I like the fact that your hair is natural. Listen, okay, it took a long time to get here. Okay, you may not know my story, okay, but natural hair is difficult. It can be very difficult if you make it difficult. So I've been working with my hair I had my last big chop 4 years ago. And it's trial and error. We not all of us Black women were taught how to take care of our hair in a way where it can be like in this natural form. And number one, we're comfortable with it. And number two, know how to care for it without it breaking off. Because if you don't know how to care for it properly, that's exactly what's going to happen. So it's really trial and error. And I just learned to love my hair and I just take care of it as best as I can, honestly. I like to keep it in a stretched state. So this for me is kind of stretched. It can be like even more stretched, but like I don't want my ends to be like breaking off. So I know shrinkage is good. So YouTube helped me with that a lot. I can say that. I have sisters that went to cosmetology school, so they know information as well too. So I learned from them. I learned from YouTube. I took information from my childhood. I actually used to braid little girls' hair growing up, so I know how to braid. I know how to do like a lot of basic stuff. So that's one of the ways that helps me feel like comfortable in my skin, and it helps that my husband loves my hair. So that helps as well too for me to be more natural is because I'm appreciated for wearing my natural hair. I'm not around people that are like, "Oh, you need to do something with your hair," because that's a negative comment that I have heard before in my past. So because I'm celebrated for wearing my natural hair, it's easy for me to continue doing it because it's viewed as beautiful where I am. So I'm glad that you said that to me, but just make sure you're passing that message to other Black women that like wear their hair natural because that's something we need to hear. It's not celebrated everywhere we go. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. I have another comment I want to read. Not bad, not bad. God made a great job right here. You look nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go to my next thing on my list for how motherhood will outlive you. So I believe motherhood will outlive you um, because not only are you just teaching your children, but you're educating the next generation. So my children are considered as Gen Z. I am a millennial, but of course, there's going to be more generations after Gen Z, and those are going to be the children that will be raised by our children, which are Gen Z children. So not only are you raising them, but like you have to think past, like, okay, in this moment, I'm just teaching them this. You have to think, okay, I'm teaching the world, and that gives you like a broader mindset of, what I'm teaching you right now is it's not small. Don't think of motherhood as this just little thing, like this thing that you're doing inside of four walls. Like it's so much bigger than that. So don't think small. You're not small. You're very important. Believe me. So I try to teach mothers that like what you're doing right now is so important. It may look small and it may be, a hard job, and sometimes it can be mundane, it can be stressful, but it's all for a good purpose, believe me, because there are people that have had children that are murderers. And I know that's severe to say, but that also could be because of the way that they raised them. You know what I mean? Like the way that you raise your kids is really how they're going to turn out. We don't want to raise murderers. You know what I mean? Like that's, and like I said, that's very extreme. But we want to raise people that are at the minimum going to be able to function in society and be able to give back. That's the basics. I think most moms at least want that, if nothing else. So, number one, you are the first teacher. As the mom, you are the teacher of your child. No matter what school they go to, no matter what college they eventually go to, what trade school they might go to, what classes they might enroll in, you are their first teacher. And don't let anybody tell you anything different. Okay. You taught them how to walk, you taught them how to talk, you taught them how to read, you taught them those things. Even if you didn't intentionally do it, you taught them those things by accident, by talking to them, by spending time with them, by showing them things, you know? So you are their first teacher. And that's why motherhood will outlive you, because what you taught them, they're going to pass down. Whether it be, like I said, through formal or informal education. What's crazy is that if you really think about it, most teachers are women, and those teachers are also moms. And I believe that's because it comes natural. Not only do we really want you to understand it, and we want you to do. And I think that's a natural, innate instinct of a woman, is for us to be able to teach you things. And it may be easier for you to receive it from us because we are women. It helps that we're beautiful and we may be attractive. So you may be drawn to our appearance. So that helps. So we're easy on the eye, I would say. So it's easier for women to teach a subject. Not saying that men cannot teach subjects, but especially when children are young, they are more receptive to women because they may view them as a mother. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up. Um, like I said, it comes natural to us. So even if you aren't a professional teacher, you are a teacher in your own home. You're always teaching your children something. Education empowers children to reach their full potential. So that's why it's so important, and that's why I think motherhood will outlive you, because education is the future. You know, everything that we have now is because somebody was taught how to do the first couple steps, and then that person took what they knew and transformed it into something else. So what you teach them is extremely important, and I don't want you to look at it as though it's something small. It's very important, even the little stuff that you do teach them, because it equates to something bigger. So keep that in mind. The next thing I want to go over is that um, your motherhood will outlive you because of the environmental stewardship that you instill in your kids. And what I mean by that is that I live in Philadelphia, so I'm gonna start here. I live in Philly, and in Philly, not every part of Philly, I'm gonna say, but a lot of parts of Philly are very, what I say, they have a lot of debris. Maybe debris is not a good word. I would say trash. Sometimes some parts of Philly is very trashy. And I believe it's because some mothers didn't instill in their kids of how to do basic things. Like if you have trash, to throw it in a trash can. They probably haven't taught how to recycle. You know what I mean? Like basic stuff like that. Or like if you have trash, just put it in your pocket until you get to a trash can. You know, something that basic can have a big impact on the world that we live in. And it may seem small to one person, you know, like, okay, I'm done with my candy wrapper, like, just going to throw it on the ground. But every little piece of trash adds up to an entire junkyard full of stuff, you know, the landfill. That's just trash. That's all that stuff is. So every time somebody litters, it affects our environment, you know, so instilling in your children when they're young, you know, if you have trash, make sure you throw it into the trash can. If you have trash, give it to me. I'll take it. I'll hold on to it. One of the things I like to do is that when we're in the car, I have like a little trash bag, or I like to utilize the little cubbies in the side of the car door. And I make sure that my children give me their trash and we put it inside a trash bag, and then we put it into the waste basket. Or I'll have them put it into the side of the door. And before we leave the car, we take all the trash out and we throw it into the trash can. But those are small things that end up to being, a less trashy world. You want a clean environment, but if the humans and the adults that are living in the world don't care about that, you're going to be living in trash. Literally, you're going to be living in trash. So I have been in neighborhoods where I actually see people take trash and just toss it out their window. I've even seen people throw glass bottles out the window. And it's extremely alarming to see that. It's like, do you not have any home training? You couldn't just hold on to the glass bottle? Why throw it out your window? Isn't that a bit extreme? Like, do you really have to get rid of the bottle that bad? So it makes me think, and it makes other people around you think, like they didn't have any home training. And that's why, as a mom, what you teach your child when they're young is so important, because the people that are doing stuff like that probably they weren't raised properly. So not only just with throwing trash out the window, it can be so many more things like I said, recycling. We already know that when we buy too many plastic bottles, those are single use bottles. So those things honestly just end up in the waste because you can't really recycle them. So I try to teach my children, to have a plastic bottle with them, something where they'll be able to refill. So I know some people are like really picky about their water, but a lot of water now is filtered. So even if you go to a place like Wawa, which we do a lot in the summertime, and we go and fill up our bottles that we use, that water is filtered. And I know because I actually used to work at Wawa. So the water is filtered. You can go and just fill up the water bottle. That's number one, a way to save money, but it's also a way to not create more waste in the environment. But that's something that you have to teach your children, because as kids, they just don't know. You know what I mean? So you have to teach them that. Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about, and I feel like this might be like showing my age. This might be showing my age, but have you ever heard of Captain Planet? My husband talks about Captain Planet all the time, and I think he really takes pride in being in that generation. He's a bit older than me, like a couple years older than me. So he knows about Captain Planet. I don't remember who Captain Planet is until he kind of showed me who he was. And I'm like, oh, okay, like a superhero for keeping the earth clean. All right, that's cute. But like maybe there are mascots and things that you can probably bring to your children and have them learn a little bit of information. Like I said, it's not really up to you to know all the information, but it's up to you to be able to give it to your child so they can be able to learn it and pass it down. So if they have to learn through a video, so be it. If they have to learn it through somebody else, that you trust, so be it. You want them to still know the information. So another character I want to bring up was Smokey the Bear. I feel like everybody knows about Smokey the Bear. He is like the mascot for preventing wildfires. And we don't have wildfires where I live. I live in Philadelphia. We have more like house fires because a lot of our houses are like row homes and really tight together. So that's one thing we worry about. But I know if you live in other parts of the world, like in the West, or if you live in California or where there's like tons of trees, those are things that maybe the mascot that you might see more often would be Smokey the Bear. Also, Sparky the dog. I never even knew his name until I decided to do this video. And Sparky the dog is one of the mascots for fire safety. I can't even talk. For fire safety. And I think that would be more so for like where I live at in Philadelphia, where it's like row homes and things like that. But fire safety is something that all children need to learn in general, because no matter what part of the world you live in, they need to know the basics, you know. I also like to teach my children a fire escape plan. I actually am thinking about trying to come up with like a template or something like that, where you will be able to like print it out and be able to draw out your fire escape plan, because I feel like that's something important to have in the house. Not feel, I actually know that's something important to have in the house, because let's say you need to step out. Let's say you're not home, or let's say you need to go somewhere and you have to leave your children alone. Because children are able to be alone after a certain age. So you want them to be able to know how to escape the house and know how to be safe when it comes to fire. If they are learning to cook anything, you want them to know, you know, how to keep themselves safe and not accidentally burn down the house or have something catch on fire. And also how to be able to use a fire extinguisher. That's extremely important too. And that also falls under fire safety. So those are the things that you will be passing down, you know, teaching your kids those skills, and they will be able to pass that down to their children, and also be able to tell others. I'm sure you know, but children also learn from other child something. They're going to pass that on to their peers. So one of the things we used to do as kids, me and my little cousins, is that my aunt at the time, and sometimes my mom, but we would go and visit the fire department. And I don't know if you've ever done that before as a mom, but I think that's a way to be able to, excuse me, be able to take your kids on a trip, but not just a trip, like an informative trip. So not only is it fun, you know, because they like to get inside the fire truck, and you know, they get to look around and learn new things about, you know, how what switches they use and how they come down so fast and hop into the truck, the equipment that they put on to keep themselves safe. But also, that is a good way for them to get that education that they need about fire safety. Let's say you're not able to give that information, the fire department gives free tours and free information about fire safety. So you don't even have to be the one to deliver that information to your child in the proper way, because you can kind of go and learn it yourself. You know, your child won't even know that you don't know. But you can kind of learn it yourself and then have that information and be able to remind them about it every day. Not every day, but when you need to remind it to them. So that's one way. So taking a trip to the fire station. Another thing we used to do is we used to visit the waste facility. Now we never went there for like to get anything, but we would go there to drop off trash. Let's say you've missed trash day. If you have ever missed trash day, maybe you know about this. But you can go and drop off your trash if you live, especially if you live in a city, at the appointed waste facility near you. And when you're there as a child, I can see how a child would be, you know, amazed at the facility. Number one, because of how huge it is, but it's extremely organized for it to just be a trash place. And there you can actually see where they recycle, where they put things that may be dangerous to just throw into the trash can, like televisions or batteries and radiate like little space heaters, stuff like that. You get to see how they organize those things and how it's gotten rid of, how it's delivered as waste or whatever. So that can instill, you know, a way for your child to kind of care about the environment, to know, okay, it's not safe to just throw my batteries into the trash can. I actually have to go and drop it off at this specific facility. The same thing with like medications. Now, I didn't learn this when I was a child, but medicine, you're not supposed to just flush down a toilet. You're supposed to go take it to a pharmacy so they can properly get rid of it. You know, you don't want to just throw that stuff into the toilet or throw it into the trash, because the things that are inside of medications are not safe for all humans. Not everything's good for people to take. So you have to know how to get rid of those things. And that's one way you'll be able to teach your children is, you can teach them how to go to the pharmacy and drop off old medications. And that may be small, but it's a big way to that it will affect, it's a big way that it can affect our environment. So keep that in mind too. Moms inspire the future generation to protect the planet. I talked about throwing trash into the garbage already, recycling, and not buying one use plastics as well. So these are practices for sustainability. So just make sure that you are taking the time out to teach your children these things. And if you can't teach them it, just make sure you take the time out to take them to other places where they can learn it. There's also plenty of videos on YouTube that can show them a lot of the things that I just spoke about. So you might be able to make it a fun way to be able to interact with them and show them things. The next thing I want to talk about is the community impact. So I'm going to drink some tea first because this is actually one of my favorite topics. Because when I was a child, I used to volunteer a lot. Okay. Some of it wasn't voluntary. Some of it was like, okay, this is what we're doing today. But other times I actually started to enjoy it. And I actually like to volunteer. So the community impact. Mothers often volunteer their time and their energy to communities, organizations, schools, and also for charities. So when you are a child, not every mother does this, but I do know a lot of moms that do things like this, is that they, especially during the holiday season, it's a good time to do it, is that they'll volunteer to go feed the homeless. So I feel like that's like a lost art when it comes to teaching your children the value of being grateful, is because they don't always get to see people that don't have as much as them. They don't always get to see, somebody that doesn't have what they have. So when they don't get to see those things, sometimes they can take their life for granted. And a lot of times we make their lives, especially now, we make their lives so cozy that they don't understand that there are people laying outside on the street right now that don't have a home, that don't have games to play, that don't have a warm meal to eat at night, and they might take those things for granted. So what I like to do is I like to volunteer places, and I get my children into it too, because I want them to know that there are people that don't have as much as you, and you have to be grateful for what you have. So one thing that we were able to do last year, and it's not specifically helping homeless people, but it's a way to kind of give back to our community, is that I volunteer and I sign my children up too to clean up our neighborhood creek and our neighborhood trail. So we go and walk the trail over the summer and the spring and like the warm months. But after walking the trail, I want my children to know, this place doesn't stay clean on its own. It's clean because of volunteers, because people take the time and put their time and their effort into keeping this place clean. So not only do I teach them that they have to pick up behind themselves if they have trash or they drop something, or, they need to use the waste baskets that are there, but in your spare time, if you have that time, or make the time to go and volunteer places where you can give back to your community, because that is one of the ways to do it. Because I don't only want my children to pay bills and, just be the leader of their household alone. I want them to know that they need to be functioning people in society, not just being able to go to work and come home, but be able to contribute in some kind of way to help their community or help their environment that they live in. Even if it's just like their block, if they see something in the middle of the road that may be blocking a way for the cars to get by. I want my children to know, okay, don't just sit there and just drive around it. Stop, park, get out and move it. I want them to be more responsible. I want them to be that person in society where people are like, yeah, we need more people like that. That's how I want my children to be. So I take the time out to instill those things in them. And one way to do that is to have them volunteer places. Even if you think, oh, they might be too young, they may not understand it. Believe me, they do. They understand it. Like, and they may not be able to vocalize those things, but they do understand. So just make sure you take the time out to do that with them. Um, yeah, even if you aren't able to sign your children up for things like that, take the time out to do it yourself, and if they see you, you will be their example. So I talked about that. I was supposed to be doing my meal plan. Please wait while I try to reconnect you. Oh, okay. It says the chat was discontinued. I wonder what happened. Maybe I lost That's so weird. I don't know what happened. YouTube be trying to end my live sometimes. Do not end my live, YouTube. Don't do it. um, but yeah, as a little girl, that's what I wanted to bring up. When I was a little girl, not only did I used to volunteer to help people, but I actually worked. And it's crazy that I remember 9, 10, but food at a food bank. I used to go to this church and they had a food bank in like the back of the church, and I would help box up the food and I would help distribute it to people when they came in. I would make sure that they signed up, and then I would give them their box. Another thing I used to do as a child is one thing my aunt used to do is she used to help pack up baskets of food, and we would deliver them to other people in the community. And we didn't have a car, but we would go with another church member too. So, and that gave me, or like it taught me that you should always give back. Even if you don't have a lot, give something back to the community. Give something to somebody that doesn't have as much as you. So, one thing I was able to do this year, and I feel like you might see these too. So, if you do, I encourage you to go and try this as well. But when I go to the gym, right now I go to Planet Fitness, but they have the setup of boxes where you can just donate cans of food. You can donate, I don't think you can donate money to Planet Fitness, but I know you can donate food. So extra food, oh, excuse me. I've been talking too much, excuse me. um, you can actually donate food. So let's say you have some extra black beans or some leftover cans from Thanksgiving. Like, let's say you have some extra candy yams or boxes of stuffing, things like that, and you don't plan on using them. That is something that you can give back to the community and not let it waste or just sit in your cabinet and you're not going to use it. Give that to somebody. Even though you may not be able to see the person that's going to receive it, just give without worrying about getting anything back. You know that it's going to go to someone in need. So just be that person, be the example for your kids. So another way, and I think this is my last one, is that I want you to give unconditional support to your children. That is a major way that motherhood will outlive you, is if you give your unconditional support to your children. So I think this is also kind of like referring back to what I said earlier, is that when you give to your children without expecting something in return, whether it be in the future or something short term, like right now, um, they will thank you so much for it, and not only vocalize it through their words, they're going to show you with their actions. Okay, children literally become better people because there are people that stand behind them and support their dreams. And I'm not going to say that all parents have money to put their kids through college. Maybe you may not have that kind of income. But supporting your child's dream doesn't only look like giving them cash. It also looks like speaking to them, speaking life into them, giving them that encouragement, whatever they want to try, you know what? You can do that. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't. Words like that, words of affirmation, telling them that they can do it, takes them a very long way, because they're going to go through life and people are going to tell them what they can't do. It's going to be lots of people to tell them where they should be, who they should be. Is that my dog? My dog is just, I don't know what he's barking at, but all right, excuse me. I hope you can't hear him. But what was I saying? Yeah, there's going to be plenty of people that are going to come into your child's life, especially when they're adults, and tell them what they can't do. Don't be one of those people and tell your child what they can't do, especially if it's a dream that they really want to embark on, like a journey they really want to do. Don't discourage them. Like, life teaches so many lessons that, let's say, is something that they shouldn't be doing. Let life teach them. Don't waste your time telling them, you can't do this, you shouldn't. Don't do that. Because first of all, you don't know where that is going to lead them. It may be something to you where you think, I've never seen that done before. You may doubt them in your mind. But don't ever tell them that. Don't ever tell them. Do not change your mindset, because it could be something in you that makes you think that you may not be able to do that. But that doesn't mean that your child can't. A lot of people that have been successful in life, the reason why they are successful is because their parents believed in them. So don't ever doubt your child. You never know where they will be in life, okay? You never know how far they can go. Especially the great inventors of the world, they had parents that were behind them. They had parents that, even if they couldn't support them financially, they had those words of affirmation. Okay, I'm sure you can think of somebody right now where they say, "I'm so glad my mom was there for me. I didn't have it all. Like, we weren't rich. We didn't have a lot of money, but my mom supported my dream. She did everything she could. She connected me to the right people. She gave me those words of affirmation. She was there for me." So that is the last thing I know, in a way that motherhood will outlive you. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know that it was a long live, and I did not even do my meal plan because I was enjoying making this video for you. But I'm going to go and do this right now. But thank you so much for joining me here to learn how motherhood will outlive you. Even if you watch this video and you are not a mom, please share this video with another mom that you think may need this information, or share it onto your social platforms. Maybe somebody out there would benefit from this video. So don't forget that balanced motherhood is possible for every single mom. Okay, don't let anybody tell you anything different. Balanced motherhood is possible for every mom. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.